Beautiful. Okay. Hey, hello and welcome everyone to our Mexico Mining Forum 2022 powered by SearchSpace. My name is Cassie. I'm going to be guiding us through today's presentation. There is a Q&A session at the very end, so if you have any questions, I ask that you raise your hand or just wait till the end to bring those up. So here is our agenda today. We're going to be going over a brief introduction about SearchSpace Geo, our key features. I will then introduce our presenters, where we'll have our project presentations, and then we'll do our open discussion Q&A, and finally the webinar survey. So what is SearchSpace? SearchSpace is an online market space for all mining and exploration projects, bringing together assets, resources, and data. We allow access for up-to-date listings of projects. You can filter through our projects based on your preferred requirements, such as location or commodity. We allow you to compare investment opportunities and early identification of next boom markets through advanced data analytics. What is SearchSpace Geo? So this is Charles Funk, our chairman, as most of you know. In his experience as a geologist, our founder developed many sources for finding existing mines. However, besides his experience, there was no efficient and extensive search system to find projects. For investors, mine were difficult to identify and therefore invest in. So Charles found a gap in the market and he solved our problems. We have created the system that was missing within the mining industry. Through SearchSpace Geo, mine operators easily advertise their projects and access brand new investment opportunities. SearchSpace Geo is the platform for online marketing, for mine marketing and research that was developed by experts and is useful for everyone. So at this point, I will pass things over to Charles and he can discuss a little bit more about SearchSpace.
Perfect. Thanks very much, Cassie. Well, first of all, thanks everyone for attending. This is SearchSpace's first webinar. A lot of hard work by Janica and the team. For those who don't know, Janica Jalis, our CEO, and we're really just at the beginning of the journey of what SearchSpace could be. It was pretty obvious a few years ago that there's a real lag in our online and digital presence as an industry. And so talking with some colleagues a few years ago, we said, why isn't there a sort of an Airbnb for mining projects? Why do we have to go to a conference and wait till some middleman's found the project before we can? And so what you can see here is what happens when you log into the website, searchspacegeo.com. And you can search by any keyword, by commodity, by country, and there's a curated list of projects here that you could look for to find that next opportunity. Bruce was just talking before, who's going to present about projects that he knows of that have become billion-dollar projects that were just ideas and reviews, and that's what we're looking for. We're looking for that next project that can change your company's fortune. And so we just want SearchSpace to be a piece of that, and a very simple piece of that. There are competitors out there, but their paywall structure is very complex. So the idea of this is to make it simple and easy to use. Once you've clicked on your projects, you can either look at it in list view, or you can look at it in map view. And so easy to scroll around and find projects. One of the things that we'll be bringing out very shortly that we've been working on is bringing our press releases on maps. So you can see here a list, and on the previous screen, an actual location of where that press release is coming from. And so you'll be able to get that every day, every week, or every month. You'll be able to filter it if you just want projects in Mexico or you just want copper projects. So you'll be able to make it relevant to what you want. But it should be easy in our industry to see this, and we'll be the first people bringing it to market. So stay tuned next week. This will be live. And it's just one of a whole number of things that we're doing. We're going to have about 5 years worth of press releases on that. And then soon we'll have a whole heap of search capability and even AI analysis of that coming. So we've got a lot going on at SearchSpace. It starts off as a pretty basic product, but it's growing quickly to include a really useful press release function And if you're just interested in a roundup of the news each week, sign up and we send a really efficient newsletter. So lots of products coming. What we're hoping this webinar will be is the first of a whole series of targeted projects or themed opportunities. So we're starting in Mexico. We've got a whole series of projects that you will not find anywhere else to present today. And we look to go forward with other jurisdictions in, I think our next one will be a country in South America, and we might also do commodity themed ones going forward. So we want to make a really relevant, easy to find set of properties. And so hand back to Cassie for the first of them, which will be a whole series of 10-minute presentations today to just give you a taste, and then a Q&A or direct follow-up with the companies afterwards. So thanks, Cassie. We'll start.
Perfect. Okay, so our first presenter of the day is Bruce from Radius Gold. Bruce, I will pass things over to you if you're able to share your screen. Bruce is still with us. Maybe he's not. Okay, let's move into just our presentation with Charles. Do you want to do the Christina's project right away then, and we can come back to Bruce?
Yes, yeah, let's start there and wait for Bruce to rejoin.
Okay.
So our first project today is a project that I know quite well. So let me just bring up the presentation. And it's an early stage copper project in Chihuahua. So Quetzal Copper is a private company looking for early stage copper projects. And the project that we're presenting today is a project that was found early last year, and the company did a cheap option deal on it, and is pushing ahead with that project, but open to joint venture or investment opportunities going forward. It's a project that's northeast of Chihuahua on the way up to Texas, about a 2-hour drive, easy road access, very easy to get to. It's up in flat country. You can see the dark green here is the Sierra Madre, that's the mountains, whereas this is the desert. So quite an easy project to get to, past the old Plumosis lead zinc mine and head south. It's a large land package, nearly 700 hectare land package, with the key contact over 7 kilometres, and some work the company did shown a very interesting target, which I'll introduce. It was actually mined down to about 50 metres, it looks like, 20 to 50 metres in an oxide part of the system in the 70s and 80s. A local Mexican group tried to restart it in 2007 with a little 100-tonne per day operation and didn't make a lot of progress. The most material work prior to Christina's getting the project was Cyprium Mining optioned the project, and I think started to show some of the potential, but never really understood that this was a CRD target, so never really cracked the true upside in the property. And so you can see 2 photos here. One is the old workings at the old mine site. There's a head frame. You can clearly see where they were mining. And what gets your attention immediately is in the drill core, an old hole of 4.3 metres at 3.2% copper. Beautiful chalcopyrite mineralisation, nice width. What just a glimpse or a hint of what could be there. It's got very good grade. You're drilling to see how big that volume could be. And so it had previously been described as an epithermal, and I think Quetzal's breakthrough was to understand that this is a CRD skarn system. And so that means you explore it differently, and it opens up the potential a lot. If you look at the claim map on the left, you can see the project outline here along that key contact, a break between some sort of limey sediments and a rhyolite unit that forms a great contact. And to the south, there's an Oligocene intrusive stock that looks like the heat engine that drives that subsequent alteration and mineralization. And so if you think of a section right through here, that's what in Peter McGaw's classic CRD model, where that dashed line here forms the contact between the limestone unit and the cap rock. There's a whole sea of calcite veins around the Christinus mine. And the drilling looks like they've just chipped into the top of the system, but they've only drilled down about 80 metres, and that's got to be followed up to see the full potential of the system. So you've got open economic intercepts. The question here is, how big could Christinus become as a project? If you look at this slide, you're looking at the property scale on the left, and distally you see very high silver numbers relative to copper. And by the time you move down to Christinus itself, it's copper rich, you know, really distinctive symbol of a CRD system. The thing that's a bit unusual for CRD systems is that it's copper rich. It doesn't seem to have the lead zinc signature. There is a lead zinc CRD about 15 kilometres to the north, but this seems to be a much more copper dominant system, which is a little different. And for companies like Christinus that like copper, very favourable. If you zoom into that mine area on the right, you know, every red rock chip sample is above 1% copper. So, you know, there's nearly over a kilometre strike of % plus copper over that area. And if we zoom into the very core area, that's what was drilled in 2013 by Cyprium. These are maps drawn by that organisation. You see the plan map with the I think it was 12 holes that were completed. And they were thinking in panels of mining. And as people who look at projects in Mexico know, it's often the drill holes are presented in these panels of mining with red as high confidence and green as interpretive panels. The most important thing is the shallowness of those drill holes. As I said, no drill hole below 80 metres, and the two deepest holes are between 2.5 and 3.5% copper, with widths increasing at depth. So it just encourages you to step down and drill this deeper and see what the ultimate endowment could be. But the company did an EM survey in the middle of this year, fixed loop survey. You can see the loops in white, the veins in red, and the dots being the stations where they're collected, and got a really fantastic result. The red plates there show a continuation of the mineralization. In fact, it might be easier on this next slide. So this is looking at in sort of pseudo section, not looking at a plan map. And so you can see the early drill holes, you know, the 4.3 meters at 3.2% copper, the 2.5 at 3% copper, and that EM plate continues a long strike and down depth over 350 meters. So really high probability target that that's going to expand. Incredibly, got more targets as part of that survey in green. There's one hole clipped a little bit of mineralization, you know, just under a meter at 2%. There's a whole nother hanging wall structure that's likely to be more copper mineralization. And then two more further south, the southern target and the David target. And they were some of the best conductors that we got. So we know there's copper mineralization around. We know there's more of a skarn system further to the south. Great walk up drill targets. You know there's economic copper. The question is, can we get into that fat part? Can someone drill and find a 10-20 meter interval and really turn this from an exciting prospect into a large copper resource? So the company's breakthrough is recognizing that it's a different system to other people have noted. It's copper rich. The deepest intercepts are the highest grade and the widest. And really, you're looking to chase that structure to depth and see where it blows out into a real chimney or a wide manto. The EM's done a great job. And it just needs a drill program to step out and maybe an EM survey airborne survey to find more targets across the property. So I think Christinus, which is in a private company and can't be found anywhere else other than SearchSpace, shows that potential in Mexico. If people are interested, please reach out through SearchSpace or the company directly, and happy to share that information and look for investment partners or possibly even an option partner. So that's the Christinus project in 10 minutes.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Charles. I see that Bruce has found his way back, so let's pass it over to him if he's ready to share his screen with us. This is Radius Gold, the Maricela project.
Have you got that screen?
Yes, it's just popping up now. I think you're good to go, Bruce. Thank you.
Okay. So thanks everybody who's attending and listening. I'm Bruce Smith. I'm the CEO of Radius Gold. I'm a geologist. I've been looking for gold, silver deposits mostly for 30 years in the Sierra Madre and in the Andes from Tierra del Fuego to Canada. I'll just run you through a project that we found recently called Maricela. So Maricela, this is Radius different projects. We've got a joint venture model at the moment. We've got the Amalia project with Pan American Silver, Plata Verde project with Fresnillo. We've got projects in Guatemala with Volcanic, and the one I want to show today that we're looking for a partnership is called Maricela. It's right on the border of Arizona in Sonora, northern Mexico. So Maricela is in a great district. This is the porphyry district of Arizona, northern Mexico. It's one of the world's greatest copper producing districts. You can see just across the border in Tucson is the Osako Mission copper group of mines, I would say, not just a single mine. And as you come across the border, we're looking at Cananea, which is the second largest copper producer in the world, I understand. And associated with those giant copper deposits, that Cananea deposit's been mined for over 100 years almost, and it's still got 1 billion tons of ore. Associated with that is epithermal gold and silver projects. Las Chispas Metals is about just under 100 k's to the south of us. It's one of the great new discoveries of the last 10 years. And during COVID, I was looking at Google Earth and looking at some projects in this area, and I saw this image here in front of me. This is not from Google Earth, but I saw something similar to this. Saw all these historic workings on the margins of the Cananea porphyry, and thought to myself, well, who's got that? Why hasn't that been drilled before? And it turned out that the reason that nobody's drilled it or explored it is because it's historically been held by a large Mexican copper company. They weren't interested in the silver and gold veins on the margin, but a local prospector at one stage picked up the core licenses here and held them for 20 years, didn't pay his taxes, didn't do any work, and we eventually tracked him down, reached an agreement with him, paid all the back taxes, cleaned up the licenses legally, and we have them now. Where it's a classic epithermal system. We've got 2.5 kilometers of veins. They're intersecting an anastomosing series of horsetail vein systems with their wide widths. We've sampled it extensively, and it's drill ready. So, just running too quick. Just to have a look at the type of veins, you can see, and some photos of the vein systems themselves. You see that the first photo, we've got classic banded epithermal veins. I don't think they're low sulfidation. I think they're intermediate. This Virgen de Plata vein is the main one, and then there's half a dozen veins splay off that horsetails. And you can see that the Virgin of the Virgen de Plata, this is my field assistant here where my hand is. I don't know, hope you can see the hand. That's Felix. So you can see that that vein is a good 5 meters across, and the wall rocks are stock worked and altered and host good grade. You can see the stockwork and breccia textures on the bottom photo, and that's the Arco vein, one of the ones that intersects with the Virgen de Plata. And again, this is our geologist having a look, and it's in excess of 10 meters wide. So we have done extensive sampling and mapping of this project. We've got over 600 surface rock chip samples, and I told as a team we went in there and we channel sampled at regular intervals wherever we could get decent outcrop. And we sampled meter by meter or 2 meter samples to specifically look at exact grade and width of those outcropping veins, so we could have a concept of what the overall widths are, what the overall grades are, and then we can think about what happens underneath. So we have some very high grades. There's 10-gram samples and plus kilo silver, but overall the veins are wide, in excess of 10 meters, and overall grades are in the vicinity of 0.5 gold and 100 silver. If you look at the narrower intervals of just a few meters, you get much higher grades. But if you look at the wide width of the vein, then you've got what I think is an easy lower grade bulk tonnage open pit target. All these veins trend together, they're merging at depth, so it would make an ideal open pit target. And you can, if you run through some of these numbers, there's a lot of them, but 10 meters at 0.62 and 150 silver, it's kind of normal grades through this deposit. And you can see we've got one main vein, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different veins all intersecting. If we go down and look at what a cross section looks like, all those veins are predicted to merge. They do merge along strike, but they'll be merging at depth as well. And these, where the Virgin of Plata and the Arco vein merge down here, these are the main drill targets for at depth. So we have drill permits granted. So what we did is a bit different. From that position of knowing how wide the veins are, knowing their strike, knowing how many veins we've got, we just projected the veins to depth. We just said that let's imagine that those veins continue at depth and they maintain the same width and the same grade. What would happen? Because usually people are postulating, like Charles before, let's hope that things change at depth. Let's hope that copper vein goes down. Let's hope that it gets bigger and better. We just said, let's assume that the veins continue at depth and don't change. What happens then? So we populated a model. You can see the one we've made at the top here. We put 150 postulated drill holes into it. We populated those drill holes with exactly the same grades as we got in the surface channels. And then I sent it to an open pit mine engineer in Australia. And I said, run it through your mining software and see what comes out. And the target that comes out is a nice open pit, relatively not high strip, medium to low strip. And we'd be mining between 50 and 100 million ounces of silver. It's a silver dominant project, although there's gold with it, it's silver dominant. And the license has more than enough room to put a large scale open pit on it. And I've just got in the bottom here some comparisons. This is a pit down the road from my house where I live, and that's a pit just down the road from Maricela of First Majestic. So we have a very good idea of the target, what we're after. We know that the veins are there on surface. We know the grades. We know the widths. We think that there could be decent high grade underground there as well. But the first easy thing to do is just to drill, 4 or 5 holes across the system. Confirm that our model's right, confirm that we have a large open pittable resource, and get some metallurgical material to run through, get some core sample for metallurgy, run that through, and we're looking for a partner to fund that. If you're interested in the project, this is drill ready. We've got a team that can operate. We're looking for somebody to come on board and fund that, and you can earn a majority. And we're pretty reasonable. There's many ways to cut the pie, so you can talk to me and I'll figure out a way. All Radius is looking for is something that, if we make a decent discovery, that our shareholders get, great benefit. So there's lots of ways to do a deal, as long as Radius's shareholders are going to be happy and we can get this drill tested. There's a deal to be done. So that is my story about Maricela. Radius is always coming up with new projects. I find one every 6 to 12 months, so there'll be more in future. So thank you very much for your time, and back to you.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Bruce. I think we will pass it back to Charles now for the Grupo Factor presentation. We're able to.
Bruce, do you mind stop sharing? I think that'll allow me to take over.
I just did.
Perfect. Let me bring this up. Perfect. So I'm presenting the Los Quotas project on behalf of a private company, Grupo Factor, in Mexico. I'm doing that on behalf of SearchSpace. So if you have any interest in the project, please reach out to SearchSpace and they'll put you directly in touch with the vendors. The project's located in southern Chihuahua. It's a 600-acre property. Early stage property with silver, copper, gold potential. And Grupo Factor is looking for an option for someone to come over and take on the project and continue to explore that project. There's a really good technical report in English if you'd like a lot more detail. And this presentation's taken from that technical report. As I touched on, the project's a 600-hectare land package. It's located about 55 k's northwest of the Los Gatos silver mine. So that's a major structure more broadly going through Chihuahua that has a whole number of major silver districts on it. I think the Cusi project that Sierra Metals mine is further to the northwest. And the claim package, you can see in the bottom left, is outlined in the yellow hash marks. It's probably 2/3 of what looks to be a major vein district. And the central block to the south in this report was previously explored by Serengeti Resources. So I'd encourage anyone who's interested in this to find that data on CEDAR and learn a little more about the property that way. Those three claims cover quite a significant vein district, as you can see in bottom right with the red and the purple outcropping veins. Based on the mineralogy and the vein textures in the report, I'd suggest that it's an intermediate sulfidation district. Fairly classic geological setting, Paleogene age or older sediments, Paleogene age volcanic rocks form the host stratigraphy. And that's been cross-cut by the vein network. And so Grupo Factor split it into three main districts or three main zones within that. It suggests that there might be some block faulting up and down, dropping different parts of that district. And so if you start in the west part of that district, epithermal veins described as milky quartz with iron oxide, hydroxide mineralization. And then a stockwork phase outside of that, hosted mostly in a diorite sequence. There is some hornfelsing as well. And so predominantly copper, moly, silver and gold. So maybe a bit of a hotter flavour. I'm just surmising that personally there, with some consistently high-grade copper mineralisation along there. Silver up to 126 grams and some elevated zinc numbers as well. In the north, the mineralization possibly is a bit shallower. Again, my interpretation, you can form your own when you read the report. More silver-based metal signature. They talk about the same milky quartz veins, but this time you get more barite and fluorite than is described in the west zone. Same host rocks, but locally higher silver grades. You can see the sample on the bottom right, over 500 grams silver, in something described as having bladed quartz textures. So right in the sweet spot for deposition in that system. Yeah, silver dominant relative to the base metals. So it looks like a pretty attractive area from afar. And then the east zone hosted in more felsic rocks, rhyolite hosted breccias. So either a slightly different style to that mineralization or potentially just a different manifestation in the felsic rocks. High-grade copper and silver associated with that zone. And I note they talk about stibnite here that's not noted elsewhere as well. So quite a significant variety of mineralization styles. From my perspective, quite a big district that doesn't look like it's been very well explored. It's got evidence of high-grade silver and nice base metal and gold, or potential for nice base metal and gold credits. So as I look at that system, definitely it's the kind of project that I'd go and visit and see if there's more to. So if you'd like that report, either reach out to SearchSpace or get in touch with the company directly. You can reach out to Conrado Terrazas at the number you can see there below. You might need a Mexican country code in the front of that. So if you have any difficulty, just reach out directly to SearchSpace and the company can provide some more information and put you in touch with Grupo Factor. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay, we're moving into our final two projects with Benjamin Hill. So at this point, I will pass things over to Macario.
Okay.
Perfect.
You can see the screen very good or no?
Yes, yes, I think everyone can see it. You're good to go.
Okay, I can see. Well, Sonora Gold Project is controlled by Benjamin Hill Mining Corporation. And this project presents a favorable geological setting, conveyor structural system, especially tree system, remarkable extreme sediment geology anomalies, very good, and kilometer-long mineralization occurrence. It's a very nice structure and well-defined magnetic anomaly and AP also. Scan route with iron replacement and hydrothermal is very common. Also, we have irregular orogenic quartz bodies. And it's very common to see intensive bimodal dike everywhere. And the other important thing is a complex of the mineralization rhyolite domes. Also, very good defined kilos of the alteration, especially in low levels. Also, well defined, especially like phyllic and propylic alteration. Over the 3,000 geochemistry sites, very result. Finally, a successful drilling program developed in this area, very good. Well, Benjamin located in the northwest of the Mexico, specific in the central part of the Sonora state. In this region, it converts three different metallurgy provinces, include orogenic, epithermal, a little bit porphyry evidence. Well, in the property, it's possible to see different meaning working or history meaning working. One is possible to accessibility on foot, and the other one is vertical shaft. In the screen, you can see different distribution of this kind. The area is about 6,400 hectares. Actually, it's good property. The geologic environment includes volcanic sedimentary sequence from the Jurassic intruded by different plutons, and then a lot of like also is possible to see this one. The geological setting was cursed like different structural control, especially three differences. One is parallel and the other goes throughout the other. This is very related to genetic model because throughout this extensive structural implies different veins and ore bodies. Well, the geochemistry stream sediment demonstrate the different anomalies inside of the area, the project. In the west part is the aeromagnetic survey show and locate definite anomaly. This is about 12 kilometers in long and 2.5 kilometers in wide. And local surface development in the last month demonstrate the very good anomaly relating with structure and maybe is open in deep. The mineralization includes large structure and composed by quartz, barytes, and hydroxide and sulfur, and also it's possible to find hydrothermal breccias. The environment is medium sulfidation. Well, in the east part, we have the very good area, named La Salada area. This is a concentric shape in surface, but in this area there are a lot of veins composed of the quartz or the other ones. And well, this is the model for this area. You can see the photography and the model. If we think this is related with the porphyry in deep, fertile, obviously, and maybe is very potential in this area also. The geochemistry demonstrate the enrichment of the gold. You can see the distribution for the gold, and also is the very good values for the copper, anomaly for the moly, and very consistent with the arsenic. In summary, this project is more than 1.5 kilometers in section. For the structural control, very good values. And flow inclusion demonstrate this kind of the mineralization is more epithermal when magmatic influence, and very common to see a boiling effect in several blocks. During the last 6 months, we developed drilling in 3 different areas, specific 34 drilling. The campaign was successful for us. Here you can see an example for the good for different vein cutting throughout the drilling. In this case is a Sonora copper system. So, well, Unfortunately, well, the image not is too good, but this is the model for the exploration for this project. In Surfai, it's possible to see different dikes and related with the large vein. Sometimes locally surround this is possible to see a stonework and shearing vein, and relating this is possible to see different extents alteration hills. So thank you. This is for Sonora Gold Project.
Great. Thanks, Macario. Would you like to proceed into the Antimonio project now?
Yes.
Perfect.
Antimony project, this is located in the northwest of the Sonora state. This is related to the orogenic belt named Caborca Belt, where a lot of companies produce very good historic gold. And here you can see the antimony. Well, the other ones, you can see different projects around this. All is related to the orogenic type deposit. Many people say this region is related with Mega Shear Sonora or Mojave Sonora Mega Shear. For this reason, the mineralization is more orogenic, so it's very potential. This region, and the antimony is also a very good project. This includes large property, is more than 24,000 hectares, includes several claimed or main claims. Well, the geologic environment includes a sequence of the siliciclastic from the different age, Proterozoic and Jurassic. It's possible to see different structure inside this, composed of the amorphous quartz, where enrichment with the gold. And in this area, or in this project, several drilling campaigns have developed with good result. You can see here different intervals from the drilling project. Well, there are several drilling campaigns in this project, and like conclusion is this system is open and deep because this kind of the mineralization is large or deeper, especially because depend for the genesis. Well, here you can see longitude section and what is the best blocks with good grade gold. So here you can see the scale, especially is good section because more the drilling create good intervals with gold. here you can see the different interval current by different drill holes. Very nice, great interval also. And in the south of this area, history metallurgic plant is possible to found. Now is not working. And in this plant, process material from the different vein, like these boros. This area is named San Felix. The vein consists of the amorphous cores and oxidate material. So, this well. In summary, the antimony is a good project in order to explore it or found orogenic ore deposit, enrichment by gold, a little bit silver. Thank you.
Okay, we're back. Awesome. Thank you so much, Macario. At this point, we are going to move into our Q&A session. So if anyone has any questions for Charles on SearchSpace or for any of the presenters on their projects, now is a great time to bring those up. You can either raise your hand by pressing those 3 little dots on the side, or just type the question into the Q&A section at the top left of your screen. Okay, do we have any questions? All right, if there's no questions, then we'll move on to our final words. I will pass this over to Charles just to say a thank you for everyone to join. And yeah, last words for SearchSpace.
Perfect. Thanks very much, Cassie. Thanks everyone who attended today. I think we kept to our goal of keeping these as short and punchy presentations. Hopefully they're new. The whole point of looking on SearchSpace is finding projects that you don't know about. So please reach out to the company if you're interested, or directly. SearchSpace doesn't want to be a middleman and wants to put you in touch with people and their projects. It's about time in the modern world it was easy to find properties. So thanks again. We'll update you when we have our next webinar and where that'll be. Feel free to reach out to the company with any questions, and we'll also share these presentations on social media. So if you find them and think someone could be interested, feel free to share them. Thanks everyone, and have a good day.
Thank you.
Thanks, Charles. Have a good day. We'll talk to you later.